Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here. I have been waiting and anticipating Non Fiction November, and today I was thinking, oh, I just can't wait for the announcement to come. I definitely, even if there is an announcement, I want to do Non Fiction in November. I feel like I've been holding out for like a big binge. I haven't read as much non-fiction since doing the BookTube prize and judging the non-fiction category on that, and I'm ready to read non-fiction of my choosing, and I'm really excited. So initially I thought, well, I'll take the 4 prompts. Oh, by the way, the announcement is up, so it is happening, and Olive's announcement video has gone up, and there will be 4 prompts. And as always with the readathon, and I can't believe Olive said it's been 7 years. It's flown by. There is one word for each prompt, so they're a word that you can sort of take and twist to mean what you want and make it work for you. And as Olive always says on her videos, you don't have to read any of the prompts. You can just read one non-fiction book. You can read whatever you fancy, or if you want to, you can try and do the prompts. And I like a bit of a prompt, so I'm going to give it a go. I've twisted them to fit what I want, but there's 4 prompts, but I think I'm going to end up reading maybe 7 books. We'll see. So the first prompt is collection. So there was lots of ways you can interpret this, but when I looked on my shelf, I have recently, well, I say recently acquired, I have ordered, and it's due to arrive in the next few weeks, a particular book by a particular author. And when I looked on my shelf, I still have 3 books by this author that I haven't read, which is ridiculous because I love this author so much. So I am going to read my collection of Mary Roach books. So I will have 4. The newest one is coming, and that one is about animals and nature. But I still have to read, to complete my reading the whole collection of Mary Roach, because I have read all her other books, is Bonk, which is the curious coupling of sex and science. This one says it steps inside laboratories, pig farms, brothels, the sex industry, labs, all in the search of finding out more about sex. So there's that one. The next one is Gulp, which is adventures in the alimentary canal. This one looks at scientists that have made crisps crispier, and Wiser's laundry detergent and what do laundry detergent and saliva have in common? Was self-styled nutritional economist Horace Fletcher right to persuade millions of people that chewing a bite of a shallot 700 times would yield double the vitamins? And did Elvis die of constipation? So in Mary Roach's usual humorous style, I'm sure this is going to be an interesting read. And the final one, other than the newest one, which I will talk about when it arrives and I've read it, is Grunt by Mary Roach, which is the curious science of humans at war. This says that Mary Roach sniffs archival World War II stink bombs, tests earplugs in a stimulated war zone with the Marine Corps, and burns the midnight oil with the sleep-deprived crew of a nuclear submarine. She speaks to scientists and soldiers and learns everything about life-changing medical procedures such as testicular transplants to more esoteric innovations like firing dead chickens at fighter jets. I mean, why would you need to know more than that to know that this is going to be a really interesting read? As I say, I love Mary Roach. I've loved all her books I've read. So these 3 plus her other one are going to be my collection section. The next prompt is industry, and for that I'm going to be reading The Librarian by Ali Morgan. So for this, I'm thinking the library industry, I'm thinking industry as in working hard and being industrious, and I think librarians are some of the most industrious people I know for very little praise or financial benefit. I feel like this is going to be an interesting one. It's a memoir about a librarian and the people that she encountered. It says, I'm a librarian. Every day I encounter people. I serve the regulars, the crime enthusiasts, the bookworms, the homeless, the eccentrics, the jobless, the teenagers, the toddlers, the aged. I know my community well and they know me. It's stories from her daily life, to show that being a librarian isn't maybe what you think it is, and in this sort of endeavour to save the libraries. And I find it such a shame when I walk into our local library how quiet it is. It makes me sad that not more people use the library and reap the benefits of books and free books to borrow. I mean, why wouldn't you want to just go and just... Yeah, anyway, we use the library regularly, and this is going to fulfill my prompt for industry. The prompt of style, I could have picked a book called The Cartiers, which is about, it's the history of the Cartier family and sort of jewels and style in that way. But I've gone for a book that I like the style of it. It's an essay collection. It's got lots of recommendations. And also I think the cover looks very stylish. And this is Well-Read Black Girl, Finding Our Stories and Discovering Ourselves by Gloria Edim. And this is written by the lady who has a online book club, Well-Read Black Girl. And in here there is many different authors who have written essays, and it says it shines light on how important it is that we all, regardless of gender, race, religion or ability, have the opportunity to find ourselves in literature. And I believe, you know, I found it very easy to find myself in literature growing up, but there's so many children that don't see themselves in books, or there's like one book out there for them to read where the girl or boy in it looks like them, or comes from a similar background, or sounds like them, and all their home life, their family, their community is like what they experience. So I'm really excited to read this, and that definitely fulfills my stylish prompt, because I love the style it's written in. At the start of every essay there is recommendations of books, I believe, and then you've got the essays, and I like the style that this is written in. And then the final prompt is treatment, and for that I've gone for looking at the treatment of dead bodies. In this particular book, Corrupt Bodies, Death and Dirty Dealings in a London Morgue. This book is by Peter Everett, and it is set in the UK, and it's talking about his experiences on his first day in, where was it, Southwark? Yeah, it's a Southwark morgue where he discovered it was working in near Victorian conditions, a hotbed of corruption. His staff stole from the dead, and there was a lively trade of stolen body parts and recycled coffins. And he worked with Scotland Yard to try and clean up this sort of mortuary and the sort of underhand goings on, really. And it just looks at this fascinating pre-DNA years. He played a vital role in cases like the Stockwell Strangler murders, 1982 Regent's Park and Hyde Park IRA bombings, and the 1985 Brixton riots. And I just think it's going to be really interesting, and looking at the sort of treatment of bodies and the treatment in a morgue, and perhaps the mistreatment at the beginning. So that is my prompt for that. So if I read all of those, that's 4, 5, 6, that is 7 books I'm going to read in a month. It may not happen, but I think that gives me a nice little pile to pick from, and I'm just so excited to get started. I can't wait to hear what you are all going to be picking and reading, and yeah, I can't wait for Non Fiction November to roll around very, very soon. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I am currently filming snippets every time I finish a book. I'm doing a bit of a spooky October month with Tracy, where we read a book given a prompt by each other. So she is giving me a prompt, I read a book, a spooky Halloweeny style book that I find that fits that prompt. When I finish it, she then gives me another prompt, and it's a really nice way of not having a TBR set first. So keep an eye out for that video at the end of the month. But for now, I'm going to go away and get very excited about the books that I'm going to read. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.